Baby, we could do it. Take the time, do it right. We could do it, baby. Do it tonight. Ah, we're rolling. What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. I hope all is well with you. Now, guys, we're going to talk a little bit here about Stephen A. Smith and some comments he made with regard to Caitlyn Clark. Now, guys, I've been hearing a lot about this Caitlyn Clark thing for the last few weeks. Not particularly interested in this. I don't really follow the WNBA. I don't follow a lot of sports, actually. But as I notice, as usual, this is being used as a point of division for a lot of people, and that's when I start looking, especially when hypocrisy rears its ugly head, and we see this here today in the form of Stephen A. Smith. Now, I saw this on X, and this was on Colin Rugg's X page. I just saw it a few minutes ago, and I want to bounce this, guys, off of you, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on this, all right? So I'm going to read what's here, then I'm going to give you my thoughts. Okay. And it goes on to say, new. Stephen A. Smith suggests Caitlyn Clark's fame is because Americans are racist and compares her fame to Trump's. Have you ever considered that, guys? Have you ever considered that you're rooting for Caitlyn Clark because you're a racist and you're probably a Trump supporter? Have you ever considered that? I tell you, why they always go straight to that, don't they? It's like no, there's nothing else to consider. Anytime anyone has any disagreement with anybody who is black, they will go straight to you're a racist and you're a Trump supporter, totally disregarding every black Trump supporter that's out there. Yeah, contrary to popular belief, there are a lot of them out there. Maybe even a lot of us out there. Maybe not. Who I vote for is my business, but going on, it says here, Smith said, some Americans want to make America white again and pointed to a growing divide while trying to explain why Clark is so hated. And Stephen A. Smith goes on to say, if you're white, you're bright, and you're right, and as a result, the shine comes your way in the eyes of a lot of people in America. If you're white, you're bright, you're right, and as a result, the shine comes your way in the eyes of a lot of people in America. See, guys, this is the reason why I've always kind of not liked Stephen A. Smith. You know, it just seems like he's a loudmouth. He doesn't give a whole lot of thought to the things he's saying. Like, okay, this sounds like it's poetic. It rhymes. You're white, you're bright, you're right, blah, 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 blah. What are you really saying, Stephen A. Smith? You're saying that if you're white, the shine comes your way in the eyes of a lot of people in America. Just the mere fact that you're white means that the shine, whatever that is, it's a lot of things to a lot of different people. That word shine, man, the shine comes your way. Well, the shine is definitely coming your way in this story, isn't it? The shine comes your way in the eyes of a lot of people in America. Look, if you've lived your life, if you're going outside of your door and you've actually met people, all different types of people, then you realize that there's nobody, no race of people that actually has the monopoly on what's good in this world. I have known people, I've known white people who couldn't afford the dirt underneath their feet. I've known black people who are living in the lap of luxury. If you listen to hip hop, you would believe that all black people are living in the lap of luxury. They talk about their jewels, they talk about their cars, they talk about the women that they can afford, all of that stuff, right? But somehow we're supposed to believe that if you're white, all the shine comes your way in the eyes of a lot of people in America. He goes on to say, let's transition. Very uncomfortable to touch on. What are you talking about? Let's transition. Very uncomfortable to touch on. Stephen A. Smith, are you trying to tell us something? Are you transitioning? Do you not want to touch on yourself? Going on. Let's transition. Very uncomfortable to touch on, but just factual, correct. You have somebody that's a presidential candidate. Oh, here we go. What's his claim to fame? Make America great again. What if people interpreted that to mean? Make America white again. Who's interpreted make America great again to mean make America white again? See, that, my friend, is a you problem. That's the problem of people out here who are so damn paranoid that anytime they hear anybody say anything, especially a white person who fits their description. You know, sometimes we talk about black people who fit the description of a perpetrator, right? In the eyes of a lot of black people, there is a description of a white man that fits the description of a racist, right? So you see Donald Trump. He would be one of those people. He just looks like he's racist. I don't care what he actually says past the media sound bites. He just looks like he's racist. So we're going to call him racist. Most old white guys, they put into that category. You just look like you're a racist. I bet you were a racist. You know what I mean? So he goes on to say, these are the things that critics have. He has his supporters spanning the tens of millions. There are others on the other side having tens of millions of supporters on their side. What has that led to? A divide. It's not a divide that is created. The hell it's not. It's a divide that's illuminated because it's highlighting and showing that it's been in existence all along. Okay, Stephen A. Smith. You know you done fucked up, right? You fucked up now. You know that, right? You know you done fucked up. Ha ha! You really fucked up this time, Stephen A. Smith. You say that the divide is illuminated because it's highlighting and showing that it's been in existence all along. All along, this divide has been in existence. All right, Stephen A. Smith. I got 5 words for you. Barack Obama and Michael Jordan. Okay, let's take Barack Obama first, shall we? Okay, you say that the divide is there. It's been there all along. Tell me, Stephen A. Smith, how did Barack Obama, considered by a lot of people, most people, to be America's first black president, though he's biracial, but okay, we'll go with it. He's considered to be America's first black president. Tell me, Stephen A. Smith, how Barack Hussein Obama got the office of president, the highest office in the land, not once, but twice. He couldn't have done that with just the black vote. All right, he got a majority of the white vote, Barack Obama did. You said it's been in existence all along. All along. Keep in mind, guys, Stephen A. Smith has a net worth of $24 million. He says that a change has got to come. He's Sam Cooke. He says, how's that go? It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. That was terrible. But yes, that's what he's saying. A change needs to come. I would say a change came for you, Stephen A. Smith. Net worth of 24. You are a multi-millionaire. Okay, that's what you are. Okay, but he says change needs to come. All right. So Barack Obama elected president twice. Michael Jordan. Let's talk about Michael Jordan. His success in the NBA is unparalleled. They sang a song about this man. White people sang, like Mike. If I could be like Mike, I want to be like Mike. And they allowed their sons to sing this song. They wore underwear because Michael Jordan told them to wear Hanes. I don't understand. Where are we going with this, Stephen A. Smith? You act like, and people like you, this is where the hypocrisy comes in. You act like no progress has been made ever, all right? Caitlyn Smith is playing in the WNBA. A lot of people are crying foul because they feel that she's not being treated fairly. A lot of black people are saying that they're making too much of her. But let me ask you this too, Stephen A. Smith, and all the people out there who are jumping on this particular wave of thought. One of the things that you hear so much in today's pop culture when they're doing all of the so-called race swapping in TV and movies and comics and things like that, one of the things you hear people say so much, you celebrate because finally you get to see someone who looks like you. I'm finally getting to see someone who looks like me. In the WNBA, it is 60% black women or non-white women in the WNBA. Over 60%. Okay? There's a lot of representation in the WNBA. You know who doesn't get a lot of representation in relation to what their makeup of in the population? You know, relative to the population, the general population, representative, white women in the WNBA don't get as much representation. Okay? So wouldn't you say that the same argument would apply here? Little white girls, finally, we get to see someone who looks like us. I'm seeing someone who looks like me. Caitlyn looks like me. Let's cheer for her. Are they not allowed to do that? Is it just a black thing because we're just that insecure? We're the only ones? Or is it not fair to say that it's okay if white people want to have a champion in the WNBA? It's okay if they relate to Caitlyn Clark because they look like her. She reminds them of someone they know. I don't see where there's a problem with that. I really don't. You're acting like there's something terrible, like white people just should continue to just cheer for exclusively black people when, as if it was you never heard of Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? It's like we had all of that. We had all of America cheered for Michael Jordan. I don't see where the connection is that you're making here, sir. I really don't. I don't think that there's anything wrong with this. And really, I'm being consistent about this because let's take it back to Black Panther. I said the same thing. Black Panther, you judge it in two ways. You judge the movie and you judge the phenomenon. There's a lot of people who are determined to just see Black Panther as a movie and they think that it's overblown, it's overrated. People should just shut up about it. It's just a movie. But then there's the phenomenon. There are the people who really loved to see that representation. It inspired a lot of kids. And I think that was a positive thing. I made a video about it. It's hot in here, guys. I made a video about it and I said, if these kids are finding inspiration in the character of T'Challa and all of the characters of Wakanda and things like that, let them. Who are you to burst their bubble? I'm being consistent about that. I'm saying the same thing with white people. If there are some white people out there who love to see Caitlyn Clark, who love to point their little white daughters to Caitlyn Clark and say, you could do that too. She looks like you. There's nothing fucking wrong with that. Nothing at all. All right? The same way that there was nothing wrong with people celebrating Black Panther, which is the reason why I believe in recast T'Challa. Because there are some people who say, oh, it's just a movie. It'll come back. It'll do this. It'll do that. No, there are people who were inspired by it now who needed that. The same way as there are people who were inspired by Caitlyn Clark and who need that. Whether you or I understand that or appreciate that is irrelevant. So when I see Stephen A. Smith talking this and he talks about a divide and he says the divide is not created, I disagree. I say the divide was absolutely created. It was created by people like you, Stephen A. Smith, fucking hypocrites like you, who are worth over $24 million, who are up here talking about how we got so much longer, so we have so far to go, so many things need to change. Brother, shut your ass up. You are living in the lap of luxury. And you're talking about we have a long way to go. Why don't you give an inspirational talk to people instead of talking that shit that you talk day in and day out, trying to get people riled up, trying to get people at each other's throats. Talk about your success. Talk about how you can inspire some of these young kids who are out there who also need someone who looks like them. No, you're not going to do that because you were invested in victimhood. And I hope that people are seeing this. I hope people are really looking at this. Because this guy, this fool, went out of his way to connect Caitlyn Clark to Trump and people who support Caitlyn Clark to Trump. Once again, these people are scared to death of Donald Trump. And I think it's about time that more black people start wondering why that is. Why are they so afraid of this man that they won't trust you? They won't trust us to our own thoughts and our own decisions. They have to manipulate us, and blatantly at that, to the point where it is an insult to our intelligence. But you see this. And at what point do we stop and say, I'm tired of having my intelligence insulted by these people? What exactly are they trying to do? What exactly do they stand for? What are they so afraid of? I will not align myself with someone like a Stephen A. Smith because he talks a lot of shit. He doesn't talk a lot of straight talk. You know what I mean? He talks with a lot of manipulation, with a lot of condescension, and a whole lot of hypocrisy. All right, guys. Those are my thoughts on that. You can get in the comment section and let me know how you feel about all of this. Do you agree with what Stephen A. Smith had to say? Feel free to sound off on that as well. And I don't know. I really do value your opinion, so I am interested in what you have to say about this. Let's check it out, guys. As always, I thank you for listening. You can like, you can share, you can subscribe. Thank you for contributing to the channel through the super thanks down there and the Cash App. I don't even leave that in there too much anymore, but if you want to, feel free to. Thank you, guys. I'll see you on the next one. It is too hot in here, man. That's what the distraction is. This is the gospel according to Mark with a C. Rock on.